ET Markets Crypto TV presented by CoinSwitch Kuber. I'm Miloni Bhatt. Now, every week we bring you conversations revolving around cryptocurrencies, and we have investors, we have legal minds, we have experts who talk to us on the various aspects of cryptocurrencies. And today I'm thrilled to say that I have with me Kavita Gupta, and she is the founder at Delta Blockchain Fund and FinTech TV, and she joins us from New York in the US. Kavita, thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Miloni, for having me.
Kavita, if you could tell us a little bit about your journey into cryptocurrencies, how did it all begin for you?
For me, generally, it started as a coincidence. MIT Bitcoin Club was circulating the Bitcoin white paper, and I got to have access to it. I was actually in Egypt at that time. I used to work for World Bank and IFC, so I was doing investments all over the world, and absolutely believed it. Whatever the Bitcoin white paper said about settlement issues and transfer issues, because even in today's world, and the world has come far in a positive way with respect to our financial settlements, but being in emerging markets, you would realize that not everybody has a trust in their currency. We are the lucky ones being in India or in US or Europe. That's not the case in Africa or Latin America or a lot of places. And also our banking systems are really, really super old. Believed in it, started paying attention to it. But I think Ethereum in 2015 has really changed my mind about being super, super bullish about it.
Right. So it was Ethereum that kind of really pulled you or sucked you into the world of cryptocurrencies. 2015. So you've been here, for a very long time. Can you tell us how difficult was it? Or, you said you believed it, but what were the first things that you did? And this, I especially want you to answer, because this could be a hint for some of the other women, who want to get into cryptocurrencies, but especially in India, for instance, knowledge about cryptocurrencies, understanding of the issue, that can be a bit of a challenge.
No, I agree. And I think we need now, starting from this year, to be very honest, the first time I'm seeing a lot more awareness on the traditional media spaces like yours, which I'm very excited and happy about. It's been cryptocurrency for some reason has been the space. Oh, this could be wrong. This could be wrong, which can cause us some legal trouble in a big way. I don't know why and how that particular insinuation started. But when I started into it, I was very clear that I am buying or selling something from the market, which is available. And I'm going to do it only a small percentage of my saving or my current cash, which I feel comfortable that if all this disappears tomorrow, I'll still have food on the table and I'll still have house to live in, And so anyone who has ever come to me and asked me, how do we get into this? I've always said, first, you have to read yourself. This is not a place. We are actually trying in a decentralized world to take away private wealth managers coming and telling you, we'll just take care of you. Don't do that. Please read about it. And the material is not going to be in your CBSE books, but it's going to be on the threads on Reddit and the codes. But only buy or participate till you are not a very informative investor and a confident investor. 1% or 2% of the money which you would go and buy a bag or a shopping for. And it's okay if you lose it.
So that's your advice, that, whatever you want to invest, 1% of that can perhaps go into cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, because until and unless, the process of owning a cryptocurrency is very different than going to a bank or going to an ATM and taking the cash out. You have to experience that process. You have to go through, let's say, CoinSwitch Kuber, an exchange I absolutely love. Go to an exchange, create your account, go through your KYC process, buy and own it, and watch the markets. Once you're confident, then your exchanges or your communities are going to tell us what else to experiment with. But do it responsibly. And until and unless you think you have got the game, you are following the people who are giving you the right advice, don't do anything as a speculative way. I've always said this is not a speculation for an individual, for a retail customer, but it can be one of the best saving dollar amount you're putting into it. At least it did for me.
So where do you go about getting that information, Kavita? How, I mean, for someone who's a retail customer and definitely someone say who invests in mutual funds, which is considered a safe kind of an investment. So then, do I treat cryptocurrencies, or do I see them in the same way that I see mutual funds? But you're saying, be aware, but where is this knowledge base available for me?
I think there's a lot of material on YouTube today. There's a lot of material on some of the top exchanges on what is cryptocurrency and educational material. There is no dearth of material, to be very honest with you. But there are also not people who are going to come to your house and then going to teach you about this. Unfortunately, we don't have these courses in our schools in India. When I'm talking about, like, I teach at Stanford, my class the course name is Beyond Bitcoin. And it's a more of a technology course than any cryptocurrency course. But then the reading materials are all from online reading materials, which are easily available, which we want people, especially undergrad kids, when they come, to read it before they come. So they're not going to start the class by saying, what is cryptocurrency, when we are going deep into the code. I think there's a lot of material available. But I think where I always say the difference, it is different when you are reading something and you have knowledge about it. Yes. It is different when you actually go through the process and you know it, just not the knowledge about it. So that is why, going back to what I said earlier, I always say fractionalization, you don't have to go and buy $57,000 worth of Bitcoin. You can buy 1 rupee or 10 rupee or 100 rupee worth of Bitcoin. Just start from there, have a small skin in the game and see how do you feel. If you don't feel good, don't do it. If you feel excited by the space and you feel like every day I'm going to put 100 rupees. This is how I got my dad started, by the way. I made him put 100 rupee every day in an Indian exchange and say, let me know how you feel afterwards. And then he started paying attention, because he would open up the exchange and he would see other coins going and he would see what suggestions are coming from the exchange. And when he started talking to his friends on the morning walk, they started talking to him. And I think my dad is a more trader than me today.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting, right? I mean, put in 100 rupees, mark the number of days that you want to invest, and then watch your investment and see where it goes. So you're basically saying, put your skin into the game and let's take it from there. But, the reality is that not a lot of women in India actually are investors into even the traditional markets in any sense of the way. And then crypto obviously scares a whole lot of people because, as we've been discussing, people don't understand the nuances of it. It's fairly new. And, it seems a little bit foreign. With your suggestion, obviously, read about it, take it there. But do you think, this whole thing that women are not thought of as tech savvy or as not someone who can invest, this kind of perception is what holds women back?
I think, first of all, the question, with all due respect, Melanie, I feel like is a little unfair because we have to look at the history of financial independence of women, which is not that long, right? So imagine I think my generation, I'm in my 30s, this generation is probably the first generation where our mothers and our dads have basically given us a free pass to study and live around the world and do things. When I think about my mom's generation, at least what I've seen in my ecosystem, it wasn't that easy, right? Even if there was a working moms in my friend network, financial independence wasn't there. Even then, every 1,000 rupee sari or 10,000 rupee sari you buy, it goes through the budgeting of the home, right? So I feel like you are expecting a generation, which is mine, which is already figuring out how much gratitude we have to be to have a independent state of our financial affairs. We are 30 generation back behind men in thinking now where should we do savings, So we are the first time buying our own houses individually as single people. We are the first time going to these private wealth managers, getting a seat on that table of our money, not our generational wealth money, but our own created wealth to have savings. So of course, most of us feel like, do we want to take risk? Shall we just build it and maybe next generation will be the riskier one? So I feel like I wanted to acknowledge that. Sorry for my long answer, but I wanted to acknowledge that most of the time when I'm asked this question, I'm like, don't put us that we are not technical savvy. Don't put us that we are not risk takers. Don't put us we are not smart. But we have history of being oppressed on our financial independence. So we are taking it slow, and we also have this added responsibility of not messing up our financial independence, that pressure on us. So yes, but a generation after me, like a lot of people I'm seeing who are undergrads now, a lot of girls who are now graduating from undergrads, doing their first job, they are much more secure with their financial wealth. And I see a lot more crypto investors coming from that community.
So the playing field is not level, and you're saying that you are seeing from your vantage point a lot of young people investing into crypto. What is the attraction for them when it comes to cryptocurrencies?
I think, Maloney, they think of the world in a very different way, which at least I thought when I was growing up, right? They think people who are coming from gaming industry or digital industry, from like Instagram generation, Facebook generation, Twitter generation, now they're coming and saying, oh, I can tip somebody from Twitter in Bitcoin. So of course it's normal. It's not even a question about legal or not illegal, risky or nothing. It is just part of their ecosystem to now have it, because that's how they're going to tip. And slowly we're going to see everything which they're going to use. So I'll give you a very funny example, which may not be an exact answer to your question, but just completely make me think I need to start hanging out with this generation to keep on top of my business. I was talking to one of my nephew's friend, and he was telling me, can you please bring me that particular shoe, which also has the same shoe in this game Metaverse? And it took me 5 minutes to make him repeat twice. And I'm like, but why do you want to pay extra for this? And he's like, because I want to wear exactly the same shoe in my Metaverse when I am buying and selling something, or I'm going for a walk. And it's a complete separate world of gaming, Metaverse on blockchain. Don't want to go into detail there. But I'm saying the way they think of money, paying somebody peer-to-peer using phone is normal. They don't want to hold rupee or dollar in their hand. So there's no question whether you want a physical money or not. My generation had to cross that path of like physical money versus credit card, and then credit card versus crypto bank accounts, which you will never even touch Bitcoin ever in the history of your life, right? The new generation doesn't even think that way. All those barriers are done for them. They just directly come and say, I want this. What are the best ways to get this? Okay, just go with it.
Yeah, the world is very different when you look at it from the eyes of those young kids. And as you rightly pointed out, for them, the distinctions and the divisions that we think of and the kind of time that we take in making investment decisions, maybe those are not there. So you are predicting a good future for cryptocurrencies, even in India. And what do you think will be the offtake? We are seeing a huge amount of interest at this point, but there are regulatory challenges that remain. So what is your view on that?
I think I've always considered India as a very, very progressive country. It has been. I am very proud of being an Indian, education-wise, opportunity-wise. And I don't think the government of India is going to come and take away the technology and the industry, which is now providing $1 trillion market in the country. Some of the top founders in the whole world, and I'm just not talking about regional game, some of the founders from India have completely changed the game for the rest of the world on technology. And that technology is connected to cryptocurrency. So it would be, a new way, the new sector, which can provide $1 trillion in taxes to the country, would be really weird if we are not going to tax it, and not have those thousands of jobs and millions of jobs created. But I also do believe there's a difference between banning and regulation. Extreme of anything is wrong, as we always has been told. I think regulate it in the way which every US or Europe is also doing, which they are saying, if you are launching a stable coin, make sure you have the reserve of that currency. If you are having a liquidation of Bitcoin or Ether or any other coins, or people are creating tokens of their own, you need to go through some sort of a legal auditing process to make sure that it's not a scam. And scam exists, Maloney, in everything. Prince of Nigeria still exists. So scam exists everywhere. But I think having a government regulatory body in a right, smartful way can take this economy to a next level. And India, I mean, look at the stats. I was reading a NASCAM report and some other report, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting it, which said that there are expected to be around 2 lakh jobs from this sector over next 7 years within India. And these are skilled, highly skilled jobs, creating and having a ripple effect in the whole economy. So I'm actually very positive that the government is gonna figure out the right way of doing it, and we're not gonna send our founders to Singapore or Dubai. So I'm crossing my fingers on that.
In your mind, seeing where India is right now and the tremendous interest which has arisen in cryptocurrencies over the last couple of years, when do you see the offtake of it to be almost normal, where we don't talk of cryptocurrencies, in this, oh my God, what is this new asset class?
That I think goes back to when the government is going to make it feel like it's completely normal, right? I don't know if you remember, at least I remember my dad for the longest time would not go for credit card because he's like, I'm taking a loan. Why am I taking a loan? Why? It's like, what do you mean I'm taking a loan? I have money. Like, that mindset only got changed when everybody around him used it because it was more convenient when he's traveling, right? And I think it's going to come with the mix of the younger generation just taking it as a matter of fact, and the older generation feeling comfortable by not reading every other day the story, government of India gonna ban crypto, not gonna ban crypto today. Okay, again, gonna ban it tomorrow. Once that conversation is over, this is just the power of the economy. Like, in US, which is my second home, it is so funny. It reminded me of 16 and 17, where I was involved in even representing and preparing of why ETH is a utility versus commodity for SEC, CFTC, Senate. And today, when I look at the space, from airports to train stations to everywhere, I see ads of cryptocurrencies, And it is, so anyone who's growing up in that environment going to see the ad of a chocolate and then the ad of Bitcoin, and this is the right way of buying Bitcoin, is just going to grow and think, this is what you do. So give it maximum 5-6 years, at least globally. And I think afterwards, it's the mindset.
Kavita Gupta, what a fascinating conversation. Very insightful. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Maloney. Thank you so much for having me.